Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at independent bottling, the single cask nation Jewish Whisky Company's Clynelish 23-year-old. Man, was that wordy. A lot of words right there.
Independent bottles, they like to throw a few more extra words on there. You know, you got to tell them what distillery, what company.
Very true, Dustin. Now, this is one that I discovered earlier this year, Dustin. Actually, it's 2021 now. Early in 2020, so a while back now. A whiskey I was pretty impressed with, picked up a few bottles, and let me guys tell you why. Again, from the Clynelish distillery, so already checking a lot of boxes as far as the distillery that we really like. This particular one, again, is 23 years old. It was aged in a second Fill Oloroso Sherry Butt. This was cask number 8660, distilled in September of 1995, year I graduated high school. And it was bottled in March of 2019, one of 580 bottles. Check out there, give you a little tasting tree here on the back.
Yeah, I kind of like that from these guys, that tasting tree.
Yeah, no, it's I've had a couple of whiskeys from this independent bottler. I've been impressed with all of them so far. I thought they were really good whiskeys.
They're becoming a little more popular. I think most people think of Signatory, Cadenhead,
Yes.
You know, the
big
regular ones. Mm-hmm. I think these guys are starting to come up and people are starting to take notice.
Yeah, I mean, they're not Duncan Taylor, but, you know.
No.
One day they might be. I tell you what, like I said, I've been impressed with some of the things they've been able to do. And this is a well-aged 23-year-old Clynelish cask strength refill sherry butt, natural color, and it's very dark.
Yes, it is.
Absolute mahogany right here.
I don't believe this is first fill either, right?
Second fill, yeah. It says second fill right here.
So that's a great color for a second fill.
Yep, 52.4% ABV. If I had not said that before.
Yeah, all the more reason, guys. Don't be nervous about a second fill cask. Some are going to be a little less active. This one's definitely not that.
Well, you don't know what they mean by second fill. Did it spend 12 years in the first fill? Was it a finishing they did 6 months with?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or something like that. Because I tell you what, as far as the color on this thing, wow, dark. And as far as the initial smell, wow, strong.
It's dark. You know, Mike, this is a weird one for me here. But I'm telling you, this noses to me somewhat like a brandy, cognac, Armagnac type note. It's kind of its earthiness, a little bit of dirtiness. It just comes off more with like tobacco leaves and some things like that. Now, of course, then we get into a lot of sweetness, a lot of, sugars. This is definitely not one of those, but there's just something earthy that I can't explain.
I have enjoyed this whiskey and been a fan of it from the first sip. This whiskey isn't complicated. It's big sherry that gives you dark chocolate. It's that Clynelish waxiness. You get a nice rounding of those flavors with the age. And I do pick up some of that tobacco note that you mean, and I understand what you mean by brandy or cognac. It's just very dark, dense, syrupy, almost looking single malt.
I don't get the fruits I get on a lot of Olorosos, and I get chocolate. No, it's fruity, but I don't get the fruits I get with. I get more Clynelish fruit.
Sure.
I get more waxy orchard fruits. I get those maybe more. It's more of a red apple maybe than a green apple, but I mean it's more in that realm. I'm not getting dark plums. I'm not getting figs. I'm not getting heavy chocolate here. There's a little bit of chocolate.
The smell to me, I get distinct chocolate. I understand what you mean by the fruits. It's almost like a red apple with a caramel covering on it.
I was just about to say I'm getting caramel like in old world, like not cheap candy, not your Milky Way, but like
it almost looks brown in color.
Yeah, like gritty. I'm getting a little of that, so
Yeah, I mean, these casks, again, refill casks, they did a tremendous job. There was a lot left in these casks. And again, this is something that, again, isn't overly complex. You only get, 4 or 5 different distinct notes on the nose, but all of them are full and round. And that 23 years, and it's that general Clynelish just bonding element about that whiskey that kind of brings everything together with that waxiness.
Well, it's right on the palate. I get apple cider. I get the cinnamon, I get the red apple. Then I get some plums coming in there, which makes me kind of go back to Oloroso. Definitely waxy. A little bit of spice that's kind of being muted by the sherry, but I think some of that Clynelish spiciness that they always have, which is always really a nice kind of balancing of the sweetness. It's definitely in here. Maybe even a little bit of molasses.
I tell you, yeah, the molasses, I agree. On the palate, it is Halloween. It's Halloween to me.
Yeah. I was thinking fall.
Yeah, I mean, I was getting, I get the spiciness like pumpkin spice almost. Yeah. Not pumpkin, but a little bit of that pumpkin spice.
It's the finish on the pumpkin spice. Yeah.
I mean, no, that you get a little bit of nuttiness to it, but then you get pie crust almost with it, and it's sugary. When you were talking about the fruits earlier, yeah, I'm getting like, remember when people used to bob for apples and stuff like that at parties? Like that smell from the apple, like inside the house in a barrel.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And then cinnamon over the whole thing.
Again, that's why I said apple cider.
Yeah, I wouldn't quite go cider, but I mean, I understand what you mean.
I get a little bit of, I get some sour notes here, like almost like a vinegar, like sourness. So that kind of brings me back to the apple cider.
Yeah.
Especially right up front, I get a little bit of that vinegar, sour. I don't get vinegar in here, mind you, just the sourness that comes with that.
A little coolness of the air.
Yeah.
It's almost like a hayride.
Oh, there's definitely on the nose. Hayride's actually a really good descriptor there.
Dude, I mean, everything reminds me of Halloween's in this glass.
Yeah. Oh, so I remember going like to an apple orchard, and they had a hayride.
Yes.
And that is absolutely
Right
what
there.
I'm getting here.
Yeah. I mean, again, I always liked that holiday anyway. Here in the States, it's always fun. Even when I was a small kid, it was fun. When I was in high school, it was fun. When I was a young man at the bars, it was even more fun. Halloween was a great holiday.
It's a different smell, Mike.
But we're talking about the high school smell. So yeah, hay rides, haunted forests, things of that
This is
nature.
middle school and high school.
Yes, very wholesome. Charlie Brown Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Oh yeah, delicious. All right, so if you drop some water, now this is a strong one, so it can take some water, and it's viscous and it's dense. So I'm not really picking up a whole lot more on the nose with a few drops of water. Again, it kind of melted everything sort of together, but it's still the same 4 or 5 things.
It's a little more Oloroso than I was getting, a little less of the cognac.
Sure.
But that's about it.
It's not as dense as it once was. It's not as dark.
Yeah.
A little easier to penetrate, as far as some of the smells with water, which it's about the same, but actually I kind of probably prefer it with water. What are you picking up on the palate? Anything different?
It's kind of waxier. I'm getting more like, the Crayola Crown type thing. A little bit sweeter. I'm getting less complexity. I'm not getting the apple cider as much now. The sourness is gone. I'm also not getting as much cinnamon. It's still there, but it's come back.
Cinnamon's still there for me.
I mean, it's there, but it's not as spicy. I'm not getting like the Clynelish spice as much, but it's still there. Again, it's just muted things slightly, and it's brought out a little bit cleaner sweetness.
When you said crayon, that was weird. I instantly started thinking crayon. I usually thought in my head purple and orange crayon. I know you said the crayons, the color doesn't matter, but they do matter because it's the subliminal look of them. So yeah, I never really get crayons except for sometimes with Clynelish. I mean, when I add water to the Clynelish especially, so that's a weird thing I would want to explore more why I think that. But yeah, kind of the same thing. I don't think water helped the palate as much. It kind of went a little bit away from the hayride or the haunted forest and kind of went in the classroom and kind of waiting for the bell to ring.
It's more, again, it's just more Oloroso. And but it doesn't help the malt.
Okay, now this is one that I was really excited about, Dustin. You weren't as high on this whiskey as I was. I think mainly because of the price I had to pay.
Well, again, I think it was a fair price for what you paid. I just, in terms of age, casks, all that.
ABV, all that.
Yeah.
But it's a bit simple. It's a bit simple of a whiskey. But again, very straightforward, hard-hitting whiskey. And again, like the Cadenhead Highland Park 28, I appreciate that. Sometimes, in some whiskeys. I think this is a good whiskey. I give this an 89 out of 100. Where you at, brother?
87.
You always underappreciated this compared to what I did. That's fine, though. That's
I mean,
fine.
again, 87 is a strong score. It's good whiskey. It's just, it's not one I'm going to go back to.
I feel you. I loved it. I personally loved it. I bought 3 or 4
Actually, if it
bottles.
was 150, I'd buy a few. But
See, I told you, you're influenced by how much it cost. Price aside, you really think that's an 87 out of 100?
absolutely.
There it is. I'm an 89. That's our thoughts. Anyway, tell us who's right. Because I think this is not a hidden gem, but a very nice surprise of a whiskey if you can get your hands on it. So I know not a lot of bottles out there, 580, and I took 4. I talked to another guy online not long ago, and he took 3 or 4. So can't imagine there's too many people out there, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see in the comments section. Until next time, Dustin, what do we wish, folks?
Happy drinking.
See you then.